Now, there are so many connections I can draw, but you won't believe it. But anyway, so really quickly, I might as well just have fun with this one. The feud between Beltraneja and Isabella. Okay. First of all, she was not legitimate. Her mom was a fucking whore, dude. Talk about, you're saying I dressed too, I guess, provocatively or fancy. That was Beltraneja's mother's whole deal. Everyone's like, she's a whore. She dresses up way too fancy. She flirts with all the men. She had two illegitimate children with another guy. Her husband was gay. That was my half-brother. Like, true now. My half-brother, Henry. He was gay. And they're like, but the prostitute said. I'm like, yeah, the prostitutes don't want to die, though. That's the thing. Like, he's not impotent, right? Is any woman ever going to say that the king is impotent? Doesn't go well, let me tell you. Obama and his goblins. I'm still out here. I'm gonna say what I'm saying. He was gay. Okay. And he had he was now let me ask you this. You don't think he was gay? He had been married to this first lady Blanche for 13 years and they never consummated the marriage. I don't care who you are. You're married to a lady and you're straight. I don't care if you don't like her, you're not particularly attracted to her. That's your wife. You're still gonna fuck her. Just out of sheer boredom, man. He never did. She was found to be a virgin after 13 years. Poor girl. Okay. Then he marries Hobag. Juana. Joanne. And she has all these illegitimate children with other people. Her husband is gay. She has hella lovers, including a poet. Oh, I mean countless. Everybody knew it. She was such a hoe bag. And then she gives birth to this daughter who tries to marry her own uncle to get the throne. Shit's a mess. Shit's a mess. Okay, and even the church is like, whoa, that's like too close in relation. That's not a cousin or anything. Dude, that's gross. Okay, she wasn't legitimate. They were schemers. They were schemers. And Alfonso, who I just showed you the picture of, he was a schemer too. He's the Archbishop Cario. And he hated the savages. He'd always say that about the New World natives. Savages. And he wanted Beltraneja. The rebel army did because she was a puppet. She was mindless. She was lazy. She was, all in all, she was not a thinker, not a bright woman. And she was like her mom. A little less hoary, a little less maybe overt, but she was definitely fucking people that, I mean, out of wedlock. Anyway, so connections, well, she's still a schemer today. You guys say this is dissonance? I'm like, no, dude, I just remember. And he's still using, I mean, Carrillo is still using the same shit that he was back then. He uses dogma and an ideology to manipulate a cult. It's the same thing, different day. This is all shit you can just toss out the window and go, oh, but you know, I'll put it in the folder or whatever. There are so many connections I can make, but I'll just say with some basics. Maybe you think it's crazy anyway, so whatever. You can look into it, historians and stuff. There's things that I remember that you probably don't. Like, for example, Isabella wrote poetry. She had a book of poetry and journals. By the way, I don't know if you've unearthed those yet. She mostly wrote about the rebel army conflict and her children. Those are her main topics. Some about the infidelity, which she suffered a lot of. Not easy times. So, anyway, the rebel army was plotting. They drove her children crazy. Isabella names. Never should have done it. Her daughter, also Joanne, Juana, to show, you know, that she was above it, the rebellion and and they came after her extra hard. They called her La Loca. She was just a sex and love addict. Oh, she was just totally in love with her husband, and he was like totally good looking. And it's helpful. See, like, my husband was not that good looking, so when he cheated, I was kind of like, oh, that's because they have to. Her, she's like, those women are attracted to him. Ew. He was too good looking. It was very difficult. He did love her. He did apologize in the end, but imagine you're in the same house. She can't leave. She can't divorce. And the guy is the guy that you were totally in love with. He had been so in love with her too, is constantly cheating. They called her La Loca. Brother, you don't know how hard it is, and of course you can't do anything or you get beheaded. Fair. So anyway, she had some unfortunate things. She had miscarriages. She had one of her sons died very young, and the last one that would have been a very powerful leader is, and you're like, this is dissonance, this is crazy, she doesn't know, blah, blah. Maybe I do. You ever think of that? Maybe I just remember, make parallels that you can look at the pictures for yourself. Coincidence? Fine. But it sure is a coincidence, isn't it? I didn't draw history. Okay. And actually, Isabella was funny, but behind closed doors, she took her job very seriously. And what you may or may not know is she didn't want to be queen. She just felt it was her God-asked duty to be. So she did the best she could. And she fucked up in some departments, but she did the best she could. And she felt that if the court really knew what she had been through, really knew her childhood, maybe they'd go a little easier on her. Some of them did, but the rebel army continued to be a problem. Who was behind killing her son? They were. If anything throughout history wants to know, it's that. They poisoned him, and the doctor was in on it. And the doctor tried to claim that her son died because of too much sex. I'm sorry, that's not a cause of death. No, they were poisoning him, and they poisoned his wife, and that's how she lost their child. And she was a lovely girl. Lovely, lovely, lovely. And they truly loved each other. Very sad what happened to her and to him. That's why he died at 19. They were poisoning. Doctor was in on it, I repeat. The dog whimpered when he died. That's why Isabella, I don't know if you know or don't know, but that's why she always is around that dog after that. After he died, they said she went crazy. She didn't go crazy. She lost a son before, and she handled it. The difference was the first loss she believed to be God's will. The second, murder. And she knew it, and she couldn't prove it. So, you know, history repeats. Now you got Columbus, and what is Abe today? He's an adventurer, and he's a fisherman. It's the same old shit. And what did he accidentally do? He accidentally introduced me to the new world order. Again, his birthday is now home. He will deny it. We'll check your ID later, bitch. His birthday is one day after Columbus Day, and the interesting thing is that if you look at the timing of everything, this is happening, pretty big deal, considering it's just one person, pretty fucking big deal, right? A lot of power behind that. Karmic weight, exactly. I mean, you guys, this is not normal that someone gets this famous under this situation. It's never happened before. There's a lot of karma behind this. It's not personal, it's just karma. But also, what else is happening? The Native Americans are joining up for the first time. 2015, right, is when you guys formed your League of Nations. And what's also happening at the same time, Columbus Day is being revoked. Well, a lot of states are in celebration of Indigenous Peoples Day, as it should be. No one should be celebrating that. Horrible man. Horrible man. Did not listen to the Queen's orders, directly defied them. She did not want them to be enslaved. She did not want them to be hurt in any way. He completely did not listen to her. Note it, because it's important. So anyway, what was Bethlehem doing back then? It's all so petty. It's such a waste of my time and her time. Oh, everything. Isabella sang. Oh, she can't sing. She sewed. Oh, she can't sew. She was a little bit OCD. with especially her husband's clothes, because he was king. Isabella understood what things needed to look like out of the obligation to her power, her position, but not because she was greedy. If you track history, she actually gave, sort of funny, she gave away her actual jewels. You guys said I had all these diamonds and stuff, totally fake. But Isabella gave away her jewels because they needed the money. Didn't give them away, sold them for too cheap, way lowballed. She should have gone in person. I think she did it through someone else. It was a mistake. She rode horses. She would go into the cathedral and spend a lot of time in there. And Beltraneja and her consort would say, oh, she's fucking someone else in there. Horrible things. Absolutely horrible things. Or they would gossip, you know, about really weird shit, like her bedpan, I'm not kidding. Or, oh, well, we went by her bedroom and we heard this. Like, really, really, really childish things. And anyway, so it's funny because as I'm predicting what's going to happen, all I do is look into history and go, well, what did they do back then? They said they wanted her to be skinny back then. I told you they got into a group. So as practitioners are considering magic to help me out, they got into a group and they drank from a cup and they all did magic to hex her in 3 ways. Make her loveless, thin, and poor. Now that was re-emphasized by Native Americans who said, never from this land again will she take gold. And I think they did something to make a curse on her family because of what they lost. I understand it, it's not quite right. Aim it in the right direction. Fucking go talk to your shaman. My father saying he's writing from the perspective of the shaman who I said he was. And to be honest, that shaman was a little sexist. And he thought that because Columbus is always my queen, my queen, my queen. And he didn't mention the king. Why? Because they were in kind of a rivalry together. And everyone kind of knew that Isabella was soft on him. And I think that it distracted her from good judgment, but it also, she was naive. He spoke so charismatically of God and so highly of her son. And, oh, I'm going to name this place San Salvador. And he just acted like such a believer in a good, godly man, and he was anything but that. She really couldn't believe the atrocity. She couldn't believe it. No way. No way would this man look me in the eyes and lie. Okay. You feel free to toss all this out the window, but I'm telling you, this is just what it is. And it was also petty then, and it was also petty now, and really all that needed to happen is she needed to put the rebel army elsewhere instead of trying to be diplomatic. The diplomacy killed her son. So, in this side, am I turning the other cheek? No. Nope. This side, it is necessary for them to be captured, as it is necessary for Columbus to remain in jail. He was in jail. And then I let him out. And if you want to know the truth as to why it took, what was it, 6 weeks for the king to let him out? Now, he did a perfect amount of time to say, oh, I'm sorry, I was just really busy. That was not what it was. He wanted to give just the amount of time to say how irrelevant he was, but not too much to say that it was out of some personal bitter spite. That's why 6 weeks, okay? It is not true that he was too busy. But he should have stayed in there. We should not have let him out. And we should certainly, other people knew the route by then, we should have just sent other people. Because people did try to warn the king and queen and they didn't listen. And it wasn't until the native women came back and they were pregnant and sickly that they started thinking, how did this happen? And then there were tensions of, holy shit, are these things really going on over there? So, anyway, this was the karma that she died with, this feeling really, really like they were her responsibility and she let them down. And she didn't want to believe certain things, couldn't, maybe, wasn't that equal in her own personal heart, but didn't and should have. Anyway, just some history for you to toss out the window. But there are a lot of parallels to this, tons of parallels. I could go on and on and on.